أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Hassaballa with a special Eid-ul-Fitr edition of the Passionate Pastor podcast. May God's peace and blessings be upon you all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our fasting, all of our prayer, all of our charity, all of our thirst, all of our hunger, all of our sleep deprivation, all of our fatigue, because we did it for His sake and only His sake. Allahumma Rabbana Ameen. When the month of Ramadan finishes, there is such a tremendous sense of accomplishment. Fasting is difficult. I mean, there's no question about it. For me, physically, it's very difficult. And everyone who knows me knows that it's a joke with respect to me and how hard fasting is for me physically. And at the same time, when you are able, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by God's grace, able to finish the month of fasting and complete all of the days, assuming there's no illness or travel or other excuse, and can pray as much as you can, there is such a tremendous feeling of accomplishment and gratitude. And it really fulfills the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He says, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, so that you can finish the appointed term of fasting and then glorify God because He guided you. And it is only by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we were able to fast and complete the month of fasting. And so as we reflect about that, I think it's important to have what I like to call a Ramadan resolution. Many of us are better versions of ourselves during the month of Ramadan. We try to minimize bad habits and try to increase good habits because the month is so blessed, the month is so special. And so now I think each of us can resolve to continue to be that better version of ourselves going forward, that we don't just slip back into our bad habits. I think that's going to be inevitable. Already I've slipped back into some bad habits and I'm trying my best. And at the same time, I've also resolved to become a better version of myself going forward. In my case, my resolution is to try to begin my day every day with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the Quran, either reading it or listening to it being recited, rather. And I want to continue that. I did that during the month of Ramadan, and I want to continue that after the month of Ramadan, so that we can continue to be better versions of ourselves. I think I encourage myself and all of you to try to make that Ramadan resolution, to try to see what you can do to add to your ritual practice, your character, the way you conduct yourself, so that Ramadan is not just a month of hunger, thirst, and sleep deprivation, but it's really a month that we can work and strive to become more conscious of Allah, which is the whole reason why the month of fasting was instituted. As Allah said in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That fasting was prescribed upon you as it was prescribed on the people before you, the previous religious communities, so that you may be conscious of God. And so let us all together resolve this Ramadan, have our own individual Ramadan resolutions, so that we can continue to be better versions of ourselves for the months and years to come. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for your time and attention. Eid Mubarak to each and every one of you and your families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless each and every one of you and me perpetually in this life and the next. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May God's peace and blessings be upon you all.